Saira, just to recollect what we were discussing last week, Swami has introduced the concept of Swabhava and Swarupa of the Lord, and he equates them to the Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti. And Swami goes on to say the Apara Prakriti is made of the 8 components and so on. That's what we were discussing. So I think I'll stop there, and how the Jiva comes into being, and I think that was also discussed. The Jada, all the aspects of this Apara Prakriti is Jada, and the Chaitanya is the Ishvara who energizes it, and the Jiva is the one who holds on to the prana in the form. So in creation. So I think those are some of the concepts which were discussed. So I will stop here, and we will continue from where we left off. Saira.
Arjuna, note that there is nothing higher than me in the world. All are strung in me like flowers on a string. The 5 elements, manas, buddhi, and ahamkaram. These 8 varieties of Prakriti have produced the Stula Sukshma Prapancha, the gross and the subtle in creation. This is called Apara Prakriti. There is another Prakriti distinct from this. That is known as Para Prakriti. It is neither Stula nor Sukshma. It is Chaitanya, indwelling in the Jivi. The Jagat itself is its aspiration. The Lord first created the gross world, and then as Jiva, he entered it and rendered it Chit by his Chaitanya. This is declared clearly in the Vedas. You must consider the Apara Prakriti to be the Swabhava of Parameshwara, and the Para Prakriti to be his Swarupa. Dwell on the meaning of these, Swabhava and Swarupa, and grasp it well. The gross is bound by the dictates of Chaitanya, which is Sarva Swatantra, complete master, ever free.
Thank you very much. I will open it up for any comments by the participants. I think Swami is continuing to discuss this actually for the next few paragraphs and early part of the next chapter as well. So maybe we will move on if everyone is okay.
Jivi means that which assumes prana, vital breath. The Jivi holds on to prana, through his skill and intelligence. He is the Antaryamin, God spirit in all creation, who has penetrated into everything and who sustains everything. So, the Para Prakriti is just Paramatma itself. All that becomes manifest with the same Chaitanya has to be taken as one. Jada, inert matter, Chaitanya, consciousness, are the 2 essentials for the entire creation. They are the same as Prakriti Purusha. The Chaitanya Shakti, universal power of energy, when it entertains the idea of bhoga, luxury, expresses the world out of its own swakarma. The Jada assumes the form of the Deha, body. Both these are my nature. The Ishvara, who causes creation, preservation, and dissolution through these is I myself, remember. There is no substance other than me. There is no reality other than me. I am the primal cause, the primal substance. I am one. Let me become many. Thus I myself resolve upon this expansion into manifoldness called Shrishti, creation. That resolution affected and motivated the Maya Shakti, power of divine delusion. And so the Mahat Tattva, cosmos principle, got produced. That was the first step in the evolution of Prakriti.
Thank you very much, Kalyani. I think there's nothing much for me to say. I think Swami is explaining the same principles which he has explained the previous paragraphs. I will open it up for anyone to comment or share your thoughts, or if you have any questions. Sai.
Sairam, I was just wondering, the first line, it says the Jivi holds on to prana through his skill and intelligence. So meaning the skill and intelligence of the Jivi is what holds on to prana?
Yeah, I think I will ask Mani Aunty to read Telugu, because the word skill and intelligence, I think we have our own understanding based on the
Yeah.
English vocabulary.
Can I read it?
Yes, Aunty.
Saira. జీవుడు తన శక్తి సామర్థ్యములచే ప్రాణాన్ని పట్టి ఉన్నాడు. దట్ ఇస్ ఫస్ట్ సెంటెన్స్. జీవుడు అంతర్యామి అయి అన్నిటి యందు ప్రవేశించి ఉన్నాడు కనుక పరాప్రకృతి అనున్నది కూడాను పరమాత్ముడే. జడ చైతన్యములతో గోచించున్నది ఒకే వస్తువు అని తెలుసుకొనవలెను. సమస్త ప్రపంచములకు జడ చైతన్యములే ప్రధానములు. Here, skill and intelligence, I don't think he has mentioned anything about that.
No, because of the Shakti and Samarthya has been translated as skill and intelligence.
I think so. జీవుడు అంతర్యామి అన్నిటి యందు జీవుడు తన శక్తి సామర్థ్యములచే ప్రాణాన్ని పట్టి ఉన్నాడు. Through his skill and intelligence. I think there it is.
Yeah, because of the Shakti Samarthya.
Skill and intelligence written.
Yeah, the word, see, Shakti is power.
Power.
Okay, I think that has been translated as skill. So Samarthya, generally we think someone is very intelligent. You know, he is able to do something. I think this is the common meaning which is attributed in the common usage, but I do not think that Swami has used it in that sense, because Samarthya has multiple meanings: virtue, the eligibility, capability, eligibility, entitlement, and so on also. And it also has the meaning which is support. Support is also Samarthya. So the thing is, I think the translation is, so I think by virtue of his nature, you know, Jivi is also a spark of the Atman.
Divine.
So there are some natural qualities which come along with it, which basically has the ability to hold the prana. I would say so, that ability, that capability, because the Jivi is nothing but a spark of the Paramatman, it has a natural ability to hold prana. Swami says, you know, if you all realize that you are divine, you are the powers in your which you can access is just phenomenal, you know. So I think that's what Swami is referring to, because we ourselves don't realize that, you know, that the Jivi has that ability to hold on to prana. I think that's what,
can we say potential?
I think the potential is the better. Yes. I think that skill and intelligence is not a good translation of Shakti Samarthyam, the way it has been used. See, in the next sentence, if you see, he is the Antaryamin, divine spirit in all creation. The Jiva is Antaryamin, means the Atma within, who has penetrated into everything and who sustains everything, which is what Samarthyam is. Samarthyam means one who has the ability to support. Okay, I think that's the way we should take it.
Sairam, Arun. Even in Tamil, Samathyam means cleverness, right?
Yes. Colloquial usage, auntie. Yes.
Yeah.
And the next sentence, Arun.
Yes, auntie.
He is the Antaryamin who has penetrated into everything and who sustains everything. So the Para Prakriti is just Paramatman itself. He says, then when we refer to through his skill, his intelligence means, is it Para Prakriti's intelligence or the Jivis?
Yes, actually Shakti, auntie. Shakti and Jivi is nothing but a spark of the Paramatma, Paraprakriti. So I think that's what Swami is trying to say. See, I think the Paraprakriti in each human being is also, it exists, which is beyond the Sthula and Sukshma. That's a causal body, if you want. Causal body of each human being is actually a portion of the Paraprakriti. And I think that's what Swami is referring to. See, Swami says, so the Paraprakriti is just Paramatma itself. That's what he's saying. So, all that becomes manifest with the same Chaitanya has to be taken as one. So, that's... Yes, Brother Tasin, please go.
So, sorry, brother. So why don't we can think about through the skill of instead of his, if we think about God's skill and intelligence, the Paramatma is intelligent because he is the one holding the breath and everything and make the Jivi is in life. Thank you.
Again, brother, the word intelligence is nowhere. It's only in English. And I think it all depends on, I think, what we understand by the word intelligence. Because when God is saying, I am the substance also, I am the substance. I am the person, I am the one who energizes. I am the Jada as well as Chaitanya. So the way we understand intelligence is slightly different, is my view. But
So, Uncle, because the Jada also comes from I guess, Parabrahman or Paraprakriti. So what's the need for the Jivi to go in and penetrate into it? Isn't it like...
See, the thing is, Swami has, I think, maybe I should ask others to speak before okay, maybe I've started, I will say, see, Swami is saying Swabhava and Swarupa. See, as soon as the world comes into being, the God, the form, Brahman itself has created two aspects. Okay, one is Chaitanya, one is Jada. And then the Chaitanya enters the Jada. Okay, so the thing is, Jada is also Chaitanya, Chaitanya is also Jada. But the thing is, because of this manifestation, Ekoham Bahushyam, now there are two. He has created from the one two, but one penetrates into the other. So if you ask me, you take a tree. Okay, and you cut into multiple pieces, and then take one piece and create a joint and fix it with the other one. It's the same tree, it's the same wood, but one enters the other one. So that's the way you create the furniture. You make a leg of one, you make a. So the thing is, why should it enter? As part of creation. Just for the sake of creation, it is there. But the reality is, we should understand both are tree. One enters into the other. So I think it's something like that. So that is, he's just explaining how creation takes place, even though it's the same matter. Energy is energy, matter or matter energy. Scientists are still struggling. And then they will say, if then how come electricity is energy and it is making a fan rotate? Is the fan made of all atoms? Are they energy in a different form? So the fan rotates, but fan is composed of atoms. That atom is energy. But then how is electricity different from fan? But in creation, that's the way it is. Everything is made of atoms, but different atoms combine in different form. And one may enter the other may enter, but it's just the same. I think he wants us to see the multiplicity, the many, but he also wants us to know that there is one which is making everything function. I think that's the explanation I understand. That's why he said, I am one, let me become many. I think I will just talk about that as well. Many people think God was alone, so he thought, I will become many. We sometimes attribute a mental process to this ekoham bahushyam. That ekoham bahushyam is much beyond mind. It is at the will level. Okay, it's not say I am lonely now, I want to become many, so I can love him. There are people who explain this kind of thing because we are trying to understand that from a human perspective. Okay, so I think it's the same. I'll stop here. If anyone else would like to comment, Saira.
Sairamana.
Yes.
Yes,
Aish.
Yeah, just adding to what you were saying. So it's same thing. So currently, because I have vision that can perceive the Vibgyor or the rainbow colors, I see the world with its different colors. Suppose I had X-ray vision, then I would see world as black and white. So at the level of the mind, I see what is Chaitanya, what is Jada, and so on. Like now, when you said beyond the mind, then everything is Chaitanya. Means there is nothing about speaking about two. It's always only the one, and that which was always there has now become two. And when we speak of two, we are always speaking at the level of mind. And because we are speaking at the level of mind, we say Chaitanya and Jada, or else it would have been just Chaitanya. So just telling, and because it became two, the one entering the second and all of that comes. But if we are at the level of beyond the mind, then everything is only one, everything is only Chaitanya, and just it was like one changing into another kind of a thing, rather than saying one getting into another, which we start saying at the level of the mind. So I thought I'll just say that.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Thank you.
Brother Sairam, if you don't mind, is it okay for us to read that the last one? It says, "I am one. Let me become many." Can you explain the word that's word by word of that sentence, please? Because so that's myself resolve upon this expansion into many folds. What's that means?
Okay. I think I'll just ask Mani Aunty to read the Telugu and then we will discuss.
Ekoham Bhavusyam. There I should study, is it?
Yes, Aunty.
Yeah. అన్నిటికీ మూల కారణము నేనే, మూల వస్తువు నేనే. ఏకోహం బహుశ్యాం అని నేనే సృష్టి సంకల్పము చేసి తిని. ఈ సంకల్పము ద్వారా మాయాశక్తిలో చలనం కలిగింది, మహత్తుగా మారింది. అదే ప్రకృతి మొదట పరిణామము. That's how it is written here. ఏకోహం బహుశ్యాం. సంకల్పము ద్వారా మాయాశక్తిలో చలనం కలిగింది. There was an imbalance in the Maya. That Shakti, Prakriti. That is how the creation took place.
What is that meant by thus myself resolved upon this expansion?
What is it? Varuna, it is not very clear.
Myself resolved upon this expansion. What is that? What is the resolve?
Myself resolved upon this expansion manifoldness.
The other side is Srishti can understand. Why there is a word was used as a resolve upon this expansion? What is the thing going to be resolved? Srishti, the resolution affected and motivated.
సృష్టి లయమునకు కారణమైన ఈశ్వరుడు నేనే తెలుసుకో. Not only
affected the Maya, motivated the Maya. So if we understand the resolve, then resolution, what is the resolution affected to motivate the Maya?
Okay, sister. Brother Dasan, you have raised your hand, please.
Yes, Sairam brother. I am many mean. If you look at the Prakriti, you can see different forms. But if you look at that behind, the Lord is there. Because of the Maya Shakti, we are looking at everything different. But when you look at Atmic level, if you look at that one, everything one. So, thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. I think the question Sister Aruna has is, what happened, what is this Ekoham Bhavusyam? I am one, I become many. I think we all think, suddenly God was thinking suddenly and he said, okay, I let me become many. So that's the understanding we all get. See, the ideal explanation for this, we go to sleep. Suddenly there's a dream. Okay, the dream, and then there are so many people. We are also part of the dream, and there are others also in the dream. How did that dream come to be? Did you think that I'm going to have a dream now and then created others? You were one, you became many. But the reality is that is also Sankalpa. Sankalpa, which is what creates the dream, where you become many and you experience. Within that dream, you think you are separate from somebody else. The other person's dialogue also, your mind only is speaking. You are also listening and you are also responding in the dream. All that is happening, but there has been a Sankalpa. It is not like a thought, when waking, we think, oh, I'm going to do that. It is not that. It is just suddenly a phenomena has taken place. We're having a dream. No one is able to, science is unable to explain why we have dreams. They say, oh, brain, or some, they have different theories. But the reality is we have created multiple individuals, an entire different world. All that has happened because it is all happening through a sankalpa in our sukshma deha. Okay, the mind, you can say it's mind or something beyond that also. So that process, one become many, that's a resolve, that's a sankalpa. The word resolve also is, not the best translation. Sankalpa means it just happens in creation. That's why Brahma's children are all called Manasa Putras. Brahma Manasa Putra, that's the way if all rishis are called. Because Brahma is supposed to be created through, of course, that Manas is not necessarily the Manas which we understand. But there is a Manas, which is what Swami is calling the Mahat Tattva. The Mahat Tattva gets produced through that process.
So
Maya Shakti
between
comes.
many folds, we can understand something. That's the reason the many folds come. Right?
Pardon?
So becoming one to many folds is to understand something, right? Otherwise, we don't want to create multiple folds. Many folds. Why the many folds comes to you to understand something?
Creation is expansion, that's all. When expansion takes place, manifold things come up. Many varieties of things come up. That is Srishti, that's creation.
So, Auntie, I think Sister Aruna's question is, okay, what are we going to learn from this Ekoham Bahushyam?
Yes.
What, I think,
What are we going to learn?
yes, she wants to know what to learn.
It is a self-same Brahman he is the foundation or the, what is it called, on which the whole creation is done. It's a Brahman himself has expanded himself on this as creation, as the visible universe. Substratum, he is the substratum.
Substance of everything.
Substratum of the whole world. So on which the whole Brahman has expanded himself into this universe. The visible universe is only just, we can see it. It's only Maya Shakti, which has created this.
What we are seeing is a Maya Shakti.
Because of the Maya Shakti, we are seeing the manifold.
The manifold.
It's one.
I think the question, Auntie, is she's asking what's the purpose?
Purpose.
Okay, why did God created this world? Okay. And what is there to learn? Did God have to learn something? Did he not know something that he became many, that now he has to learn from that? So what is the purpose of this creation is Sister Aruna's question. Sister Aruna, okay?
Yes, that's the question. Why manifold? I know we are seeing later we are seeing as a Maya Shakti, but the manifold was created for a reason, right? So that's what I'm trying to understand. Thank you.
This pralaya, dissolution, preservation, and creation. This is cycle, which has to go on and on. When creation takes place, for a longer time, it is preserved. And then dissolution has to take place. Pralaya has to come. When pralaya comes, again, it goes back to the creator, Brahman. So when time comes, he creates it. That's how we have learned,
Yes, it's okay. Thank you. Yes, Brother Tasan.
Yeah, I studied somewhere, brother. The board just decided, and he just created, and he wants to see what is happening. Thank you, brother.
So I think the question is, brother, was he bored that he had to create the world? I think that's the question.
Yeah, for first time he just created all the animals and everything, and he was not satisfied. Then he created the human.
I think you're quoting from the Bible, brother.
Not the Bible. And just I never read Bible in my life. I just read from somewhere. Only Baba's books only I read. Somewhere I found that one. Thank you, brother Sairam.
Sairam Aruno.
Yes, Auntie.
I have read Swami saying it, that when he was not happy with all other creation, he wanted to create same image human creations, because he wanted to enjoy the love that can be shared with the human beings. God, the bondage between the God and the human beings, because the sixth sense is there for the human being.
Because the reason, brother, just adding to the auntie's point, because other creatures not appreciate the God's creation. Only the humans started to appreciate the God's creation and his leelas and the power and everything. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, brother. Any other thought from anyone? See, I think the whole the problem with this concept of creation, which happened at a particular point in time, is the one which causes all of us some issue, because we think, you know, there was something and then suddenly something came to be. Why can't we it all go back to the same? I think the answer is in what Swami has explained. He says Parabrahman has is Swabhava and Swarupa. If we look, the Swabhava is this multiplicity. Swarupa is that which is one. One is Shiva, one is Shakti. Both have coexisted always. If we look at this, so Swami has used the word Srishti, which we have translated as creation. And but if we go to the next one, Swami says it's Parinamamu. I think that's the word he has used, which is evolution or transformation of Prakriti. Okay, that's the first step. Because this process actually is happening every day, every moment. And there's not a point in time in the past or future when this process will not go on. So I think because when we have a linear version, there was nothing and then suddenly everything came into being and then everything will go. As Auntie was saying earlier, it is a cyclical process. There are small cycles, there are bigger cycles, there are very big cycles. That is the entire thing, including the one and the many, is Brahman. The many is also Brahman. The one is also Brahman. That is the way Brahman is. It is not that Brahman was only when the external world did not exist. The external world is part of it, part of that Brahman. So there's nothing called creation the way we understand, I think, is what I would say. If we think there was before, the God was just doing nothing and then suddenly he said, I will create. Now Swami is telling this process happens. That is how things manifest and things dissolve. But the thing is that dissolution happening has always gone on and will always go on. But from when something happens, it comes from nothing, it looks like. But that principle Swami is explaining is what I understand. So that is why each time, every day, God decides, okay, let me become many. It's not that it happened once upon a time and then it has stopped. That's my understanding. So if we think everything as a cyclical thing and creation and the change, but it is part of God, because he has already said that is my Swabhava. So Swabhava always exists. It's not that Swarupa existed alone and then suddenly Swabhava came into being. If Swarupa exists, Swabhava is also there. So the way Swami says, see, that is why Arjuna was given that Vishwarupa Darshana. Everything is part of God. There are people dying, people born. Everything is one. So God is Apara Prakriti as well as Para Prakriti. Always. It is not that Apara Prakriti came into being. But Swami is only saying what happens in the Apara Prakriti, what is the process it goes through. I think if we understand it that way, then, oh, he was one before, then he became many. You know that Ekoham Bahushyam, it is not that he was one, once upon a time he was one. I think that's a continuous process. He is Ekam as well as Bahu. He is one as well as many, always. But the many undergoes changes, is what I understand. Okay, I think I spoke too much. I will stop here. Others, please share any thoughts.
Uncle. I think we also talked about this before, like how there's, because I always had in my mind that there is this unmanifest part of God, but then even like in the Bhagavad Gita, like chapter 10, Krishna is saying that this whole world is one tiny fraction of his glory. So doesn't that mean that there is another part that's separate from this?
So the unmanifest exists while the manifest exists. Even today, unmanifest exists. I think Swami has given a similar explanation to the drops of water in an ocean. In an ocean, you go to the beach, you get spray of water. It's a minuscule piece. Okay, even if you get a storm and there are huge waves rising up, that is actually a minuscule of what the ocean is. So ocean is so wide and vast, which is unmanifest. If you think the spray as the manifestation, the ocean as the unmanifest, it always exists. The manifestation exists and the unmanifest also exists, even now. But Swami wants us to understand that there's an unmanifest beneath the manifest. You see, all sadhana is just to recognize that. Don't just think the unmanifest exists separately from the manifest separately from. So that's my understanding. I hope that sort of answered that question.
Yeah. So I guess the other conception I had in my mind is that as a GV, when you get liberated, you become part of the unmanifest part of Brahman. But I guess that's, so what happens when you become liberated to that GV?
See, all of us, I think I should not be giving all that. Anyone else also, please speak up. I think I'll stop here. So what is, sister is asking, so what is liberation then? Okay, that's the question.
Auntie speak English, she's on mute.
Unmanifest is referred to as Mula Prakriti, that is a Pradhana. Before Purusha and Prakriti came out, that Mula Prakriti, which is called Pradhana, was the original source of this whole creation. Afterwards, when Purusha and Prakriti came up, when one is Jada, one is Chaitanya. So that inert matter, the consciousness, that is the Chaitanya, its light falls upon the inert matter, and then there starts creation. The first thing that manifested was Mahat Tattva. That's what Swami has written here. The first principle which came out was Mahat. It's called Mahabuddhi also. Mahat is called Mahabuddhi also. So that was the first creation when Purusha and Prakriti acted upon each other. So the evolution takes place thereafter, and following paragraph Swami is explaining it. And for that, Aruna's question, what is the purpose behind creation? There is no purpose as such. Creation has always been there. It's not with any idea of getting some great joy out of it, not created. No, creation is always there. It is it comes out suddenly and it disappears into dissolution. That's how it goes on. Forever, the eternal cycle is going on. When dissolution takes place, nothing is seen, nothing is manifested. Only when creation starts, then manifestation takes place. It goes back into that Brahman, that supreme consciousness. What Sai Satish was saying, beyond the mind, and Aruna also said that, beyond the mind is that supreme consciousness, only then Jada and Chaitanya formed. What I have understood. Sai Ram, thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Anyone else would like to share any thought?
I don't know.
Yes,
So
Auntie.
that means the GV goes back to the original source.
Yeah.
That is Parabrahma.
If the GV has done good karma, good punya,
Yeah.
only then he goes.
Yeah.
He must have done so much good karma.
Yeah.
That
to get that, there's a lot of stages the GV has to go through.
Exactly.
But what is liberation means, it is goes back to the original source, that is Parabrahma.
You are beyond birth and death. That is liberation.
Beyond? Beyond birth and death. Yeah.
Sairam,
Just a couple of thoughts here. One is who is coming and who is going back? Because moksha is something like I have at that point in time lost the I-ness that I am the body, I am the mind. And once I lose the thing that I am the body, I am the mind, I am I, if I stay in that state, then who is coming, who is going, and to whom are we going? Everything becomes one. I means at that point in time, I think mukti, it's more like I am established in that state. So if I wear the cloth called Sai Satish, or if I wear the cloth called Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, it's the same. At that level of thing, in the sense, because I worn that body, I'm just dropping that, and I'm established in that consciousness. So it is that means, because we are of course, the process of what Bhagavad Gita says, that Lord or the Lord being the source, we coming from him, going back, is all about showing the one that has, like Ekoham Bahusyam, that has become many, and that same many has this one. So it is like, at this point, I would say, when you get liberated, who has got liberated, right? Because it is at that level of that body. So who do you say got liberated? So there is no, so that is at one level. So at that point, there is no differentiation, like it's the same one that has gone back to being called the one. So that is one. And secondly, the creation part, I'm stuck at the level of creation, preservation, or destruction because of the mind. Mano moolam idam jagat. Everything, the moment I have mind, I start seeing two. And the moment I start seeing two, I start saying, oh, somebody created somebody, and that person started preserving this person, and this person finally got destroyed and went back to that person. But if mind doesn't exist, then everything is one. So the concept of this Ekoham Bahusyam and all of that is when the Atma Tattva became like Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Indriyas, all body, all that level, it came down. That's how the multiplicity and creation, preservation, destruction came, and that is at the level of Ekoham Bahusyam. Because if we brush close to consciousness, we become one with consciousness, then nothing remains, and who will speak about whom, kind of a scenario. So just putting it out there. Thank you, Saira. Thank you, Sai Satish. Yes, Brother Tasan.
So Saira, brother, so what I'm thinking, why we have to get liberated? We know we all divine sparkle, but many, but one. It's all one divine. But it is covered with the ego, karma, and maya. That's what we came with the karma mala. Once we out of the ego, And once we put the karma to ashes, and once we come out the Maya, then we will see one. There's no difference. That is liberation. Once we see God and we don't have any, that point we will identify we are not different. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Any other thought?
I'm just sharing, all this discussion made me think manifestation, many folds, it's the whole cycle and how we get entangled with mind, as Brother Sai Satish and Brother Arun has explained. It make me think, if we are such a small part of his whole creation, such a waste of time that we get trapped into judgment or not liking, mind, time. I mean, such a small, I'm just not able to fathom that we are nothing actually. It made me think all this discussion, nothing. And we are holding a big issue around us. This is me, this is mine, this is I am. What a beautiful discussion, just to share my thoughts.
Thank you very much, sister.
Sairam, I don't know.
Yes, Auntie.
After all this discussion, this is what I have understood. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So, karma has to become zero, ahamkara has to become zero, ego has to become zero, mind has to become zero. Then only the liberation is possible. Am I right?
Yes.
Or wrong?
In other words, when you are identifying yourself with this body consciousness, what you're saying, ego and mind and everything, when you detach yourself, when you completely separate yourself from this body consciousness, that you are, when you realize that you are Brahman and you are going back to Brahman itself, that is what release from the bondage of this birth and cycle.
Completely. Thank you, Auntie.
Oh, no.
Detached.
Anyone else who has something to say, please?
Shall we keep on going with the following sentence again? So, okay, many falls came. That resolution affected and motivated Maya Sakti. Then, and Mahatattva. What is that? So, those two I would like to understand the following sentence also. We'll go on with the now. We understand the multiple. Now, the system has created the Maya Sakti. Power of divine delusion. Why divine delusion? Is that translation is right?
Which one? Divine?
See, because the Maya Shakti has been translated, Auntie, as
divine delusion.
Divine delusion. So she's asking, what is divine delusion? See, I think Sister Aruna, the problem is if you had to translate something into English and then understand, we will never understand. I think that's the fundamental problem. Because the word delusion itself is a confusion.
Yes.
See, the delusion is moha. Maya is not necessarily moha.
Yes.
Okay. See, that's why when the English does not have the vocabulary, unfortunately. I think I will just try to comment on some of that. I think Kalyani asked about liberation. See, the thing is, if God is creation also, and God is that which is beyond the creation also, aren't we already in the source? We are already in the source. And God is saying Jivatma is Paramatma. So we have a spark inside us. And even external body is also a swabhava of the Lord, apara prakriti. That means we are already there. Then what is the problem is the question. Then what is liberation? The liberation is ultimately, Swami would say, knowledge. Jnana, that you are all this. All this is God. That is the process to which we are all striving. And that process is, if you want to use the word liberation. Because at that point in time, you understand and you perceive and you experience everything as divine, including our body, including the one which is within, what is without. What we see outside also we see God, what we see inside also is God. That once becomes an experiential reality. That is, people say he was liberated. Then there are people who will say he was, he realized himself. Things like that. All this terminology gets used. But ultimately, knowing that there's a divine, everything is divine, is the state when we really go back. Go back means there's nowhere to go, but you realize that where we are, that is divine. And we'll be able to experience that. And I think that is where all sadhana comes into place. I think I would like to comment on what Auntie Saku asked. Karma should become zero, ego should become zero, and so on. In this world, karma will never become zero. Action and reaction, fruits of action, will all part of this world. But as Auntie Mani said, as long as we identify ourselves as the body, we will think this should happen and this should not happen. If this happens, we are happy. If that happens, we are sad. All that happens if we identify too much with the body, or with only the body, not with the Atma. Even if we identify with the body, we should identify with the body as part of the Paramatma, as Swabhava of the Paramatma. So the thing is, but then that is why we do good karmas, so that through that process, all that we do as good karma and all that, sadhana is only to refine our buddhi so that we come to understand and experience divine everywhere. For that, the bad karmas, the karmas which are not conducive for that, and will hold us back to that realization. We will still be born. We may be born, but the thing is, we will not be worried. We will not be deluded, if you want to use that word, that we are the body. But the word Maya Shakti here is divine in the sense it is God's nature, is the vesture which God wears is Maya, okay, which is basically apara prakriti. Apara prakriti is Maya, so that is the swabhava of the Lord. But the thing is that can give us only if we pay attention only to the vesture, then we will not see God. And that is called, that's I think screen or whatever, they say something covers the Lord, you should tear it, all that idea comes because if we think that Maya is everything, be all and end all, and we don't recognize the unmanifest Lord beneath that, then it becomes delusion. But the fact that there is Maya is always there. That is part of creation. But we should know why it is there and why it is there and what it is. And I think that's my understanding. I don't know whether I answered your question of divine delusion.
Thank
Maya.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you to all.
Yeah. When you say Maya Shakti, that Shakti is power of the Lord. That's why it is called Maya Shakti. The one which is not there, it looks as if it is there. And when which is not there, which is there, it makes us understand that it's not there. That is Maya. But it is with that power only God, Ishvara is able to create this world.
Sai Go ahead.
Sai Satish, I think Auntie wants you to
Yeah,
go.
yes, Anna. So no, I was just going to say, like, many times we tell our children, like youngsters, suppose they have played a game, whether it's cricket or soccer or something, and they're so intense. They have played that game that after the game also they are at loss. Suppose they have lost the game and they are really down. We as parents or as friends, we say, don't worry, it's just a game. It's just a game. Don't worry. So this is at the level of a mundane physical game. If we can do that with life as well, it's just a game. Like Swami says, life is a game played. Then, like what Anna was saying, when we come back, we take birth again and again, it's just a game. And we are always able to play the role of a witness who is in the body, but of course, directing the body and mind to perform the right functions. And we always keep telling ourselves, it's just a game. Don't worry, it's not too intense. At the end, this is not true. So being established in that state always is mukti. Coming back and reminding and doing all that stuff is still on the way to mukti. So it's just that difference. So if you're established in that state, then always, I know life is a game. I'm established in that always, and I'm always continuously operating at that level. So life continues to stay as a game. Just as an analogy of how we tell our children or people we know, don't worry and get carried away. That kind of a thing we can keep doing to when it becomes to a level of mukti, then it is second nature, or it is the primary nature. We don't have to worry about the thing. The only thing is, because people who are at that stage of mukti or established in that consciousness, they don't, like, of course Bhagawan has given us namasmarana, the ways and things, but there's nothing like literally 1, 2, 3, and because they say like a salt doll went to measure the depths of the ocean and never returned, because whoever has gone into that state of mukti never comes back and says, oh, this is the process. Because when you start saying this is the process, the one becomes two, because you are explaining at the level of the mind. So whatever is told at the level of the mind is an understanding or an explanation of the absolute, and it is not the absolute. So that is where we cannot say that, oh, mukti means this, because mukti means this. When we say mukti, and that's it. Because if you say mukti means, that means mind has come, and that's it. We are putting so many things of our own thing. So mukti is mukti, just like I am I, kind of a thing. Sairam.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Thank you.
Sairam,
Sairam, Auntie.
what's the meaning of self-realization and liberation? How?
Okay, thank you, Auntie. Thank you for the question. I will open it up. These are, again, we are discussing it's okay because Swami is not explaining it, but I think as we understand today, it's okay to discuss. I will open it up for anyone to comment. What is the difference between liberation and self-realization? Auntie, yes.
Who is speaking?
You can
No,
speak,
that's
Auntie.
okay.
Yeah, somebody.
Auntie, you speak. Yeah.
You please go ahead, ma. Sakuji.
Sairam, self-realization means you realize that you are Atman, you're not the body. That's the knowledge that you get, that within you the jivi is the permanent, and the body is made out of 5 elements, and that will get destroyed. So realizing that is self-realization. Liberation is to liberate your soul from being born over and over again, and understand that you have to experience the the divine element in your when you're living. That's the liberation I understood.
Thank you, Auntie.
Also, you have to have equally mindedness for self-realization. Sorry, for liberation. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Auntie. Mani Auntie, you want to say something?
She has already said that self-realization. We are all divine. Only thing is we are still in that ignorant state. We think we are this body, we are this all the time. We say that I am this, I am doing this, I am doing that. This is my body, this is my property. You know, we are attaching so much importance to our body that we forget that we are divine. When we realize that we are not this, but the body is going to be destroyed one day, and we are that divine within ourselves. We are one with the divine. When we realize that, it is self-realization. And liberation is actually this jiva which is trapped in this body. When it realizes that I am trapped in this body, I want to get out of that. That moment is liberation. What I understand.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The outcome of self-realization is liberation.
Yeah. Outcome of self-realization is liberation.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. The end part of it.
Thank you everyone.
I just want to add one too. So self-realization, as everybody agrees that as long as you are not identifying yourself with your body, you are self-realized. And with liberation, I think, yes, as Brother Sai Sathya said, once you realize it, you are not the body, you are liberated. The liberation, I want to add one more thing to that, is when you don't see duality, then you are the liberator. When you see as one, that's the talking, I don't know whether I'm right. That's how I see it. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Sarah, can I just clarify with just one small point? So at the time of like pralaya, right, there's still something manifest as there? Or is it like?
See, see, Armageddon, you know, so something like that. The pralaya, you know, everything is dissolved, then there's only water left. You know, then the Lord, you know, lies down and as a little baby, you know, sucking on his big toe and things like that. See, these are pranic descriptions, you know, as just the way Sai Satish said. Children, you know, will go and play, you know, and then they start crying, I lost, I gained. You know, then the parents will console them. No, it is just a game. Nothing has happened to you. You are yourself. But the child cries and cries. It takes time for the child to grow up and understand that it is not. But even grown up, you know, then they have these competitions. This cup, that cup, this Olympic. You know, adults behave like children. I lost, I won. Because the sense of attachment to that body, you know, is so much that it, as soon as we each, see, we all have a pralaya. As soon as we dissolve ourselves in this, into that supreme consciousness, that's pralaya. And each individual will experience pralaya at different points in time. If you are looking for a specific point in time in the world's cycle, I don't think we will see it, so let's not worry about it. The reality is, because if you look at, see, if God, Swami has said, Swabhava is all this manifested world. Okay. Are we saying that the manifested is Swabhava will suddenly disappear? It cannot. As long as the Swarupa exists, Swabhava will exist. It is just that there will be change. See, suddenly there will be floods, suddenly there will be fire, suddenly there will be storm. These things happen. But that's all his Swabhava. Even if you say Pralaya, there's only water, floods or whatever, that is also Swabhava. But we are, see, this, some of these concepts are like the flat earth concept. There are many religions still who feel that earth is flat. Okay. For them, they just don't understand that earth is round. Okay. So the same way we think, once if you go to the one side of the earth, suddenly you may fall into some place, into, and you can't, so don't go to the edge of the earth, then you'll fall. And we can imagine what happens and all that if you go to the edge. Pralaya is not something like that. Even if you say Chatur Yuga, it's a continuous process. Even that's the way it has been explained. So most of these explanations are in the Puranas. Puranas are like explaining to people. It's like telling stories to children. It's like Santa Claus coming down the chimney. Okay, so it is not much different than that. Because as long as Swarupa exists, Swabhava will exist. It's not that God is going to take a vacation from I've done too much creation and too much dissolution. Now I want to take rest. So, yeah. That is a very child-like experience. Imagination, I would say. So my understanding is Pralaya can happen at any point in time. Once we are dissolved into the universal consciousness, the person who has dissolved, whenever they are looking at only God. They are not seeing, as Sister Aruna said, there's no duality. So when you don't see the second, that's Pralaya. Actually, Pralaya means complete merger. Laya means to dissolve, to merge. Pralaya means you are merged completely. So your Pralaya will be different from my Pralaya. Each of us have to experience it. In which birth we experience, we don't know. That's also okay. We don't have to worry about it also. It's a maturity which will take us there. Just like a small child, the father will say, don't worry, you will also grow up and be like me, So we have to grow up, we have to mature. Life will make sure that we mature in some lifetime. It's okay. So Pralaya is that, is my understanding. I hope I shared my explanation. Don't think that this is right, but that is my understanding as things stand today.
Sairam, I don't know.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
according to you, Pralaya means you destroy, right?
Merger, complete merger.
Merger?
Laya means to merge. Pralaya means in every respect you are merged. You don't have to wait for some floods of the earth, disappearing into nothing. It cannot. The atom can never be destroyed. It can only change form.
So, where is Swami saying? So you said it's not that God had this thought, I am one, let me become many. It's a sankalpa, which is beyond thought. And then here it says the Chaitanya Shakti, when it entertains the idea of bhoga. So what is that entertaining the idea of bhoga? Like, what is?
Not the correct, not at all. The idea of bhoga, this luxury, no. It cannot, it never be. It can never be for the Lord. It is his just sankalpa, that's all. He willed it. That's it.
Auntie, what does this? Can you just read the Telugu of that?
One nimisham.
When he entertains the idea of bhoga.
That's very entertaining.
Where does it start? Is a pranadharanamu chesinavadu. So next, I think it is.
Jada, you know.
Jada Prakriti Deharupamanu dharinchuno. ఈ ప్రకృతి స్వరూపములో నున్న చైతన్య శక్తి భోక్తగా స్వకర్మ ఉందని that is why he has taken భోక్తముగా he has taken it as a entertainment bhoga. No, that's not. He has taken that word bhokta as bhoga.
So what is bhokta?
Actually, the enjoyership is the translation of bhokta, but here it doesn't apply here.
See, bhokta comes from the word consuming.
Consuming, okay.
Okay. Eating is also, bhuk means to eat and digest.
Eat it, book.
Okay. So bhokta means one who consumes. Generally, when you eat, I think you enjoy food. So that's how you become bhoga. Okay. So the thing is, it is just a process, not necessarily, luxury enjoyment. Okay. So the thing is, what Swami is saying is, the Chaitanya Shakti, when it entertains the idea, means again entertains sankalpa, it becomes the one which consumes itself. So, that's what I would say. Okay. So it's swakarma. So the thing is, the same material decides that it will consume itself. Okay. So it's, if you want to stir the water, is the water stirring itself? Or if you take air, is the air stirring itself? That's the nature for it to move. The Swami has used the word chalanam. That's the first movement. The first movement takes place only when that first sankalpa happens. Okay. So that first sankalpa results in a movement, and that movement creates this bhokta. Yes, mahatattva. So all this happens. So the thing is, see, Swami is trying to explain a phenomenon which is beyond the mind in words which the mind can to some extent comprehend. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we should understand it only as an analogy, but we should understand that it's much beyond that.
ఈ ప్రకృతి స్వరూపములో నున్న చైతన్య శక్తి భోక్తగా స్వకర్మముచే వాటిని ధరించును. That's the exact sentence which is given in Telugu. So Sakku aunty is talking. Is she talking?
No, auntie, she's talking to someone at home.
Yeah, I'll let her. She's not muted.
Okay, no problem. She's muted now.
Yeah.
Swakarma is just his own karma?
Self-exertion.
Swakarmamuche.
Again, the word swakarma, just like the swabhava, Swami has used the word swakarma as a word here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a natural action of the Paramatma, you can say. Okay. Oh, it's a real action.
So Paramatma is able to have sankalpa because through its sankalpa the world is created.
So sankalpa has to be considered as a will.
Will of Bhagawan.
Will of the Lord. Okay. That's sankalpa. Vikalpa is the activity of the mind. The sankalpa always comes from the Chaitanya, from Chit. Vikalpa happens the mind. Mind action is vikalpa.
So does sankalpa come out of, because if you will to do anything, there's something motivating that. I mean, I'm just thinking about my human experience. So is this the same for God, or?
Oh,
The moment he wills, it is present there. Just like Swami creating, materializing vibhuti. He wills, it comes, it appears.
Like,
That is sankalpa.
So, Kalyani, I think you thought the first thought you think is coming from the mind. I think that's the question you asked. Okay, so that's the process. See, we don't analyze the thought process properly. Because what happens is, see, I close my eyes and I'm asleep. I open my eyes and I look at something. Okay, you open your eyes and look. Okay, that's the will. Okay, you open your eye and look. Did some thought made you think? No, it was a natural thing for the person to open the eyes. Okay, when you're sleeping, you open your eyes. It's a natural process. Okay, because of your will, you open the eyes. When you open the eyes, something falls on the eyes. Okay, nothing else has happened so far. Then the mind enters the scene. Once the mind enters the scene, it will take charge and say, no, I only told you to open the eyes. Now I want this. You had to tell the mind, look here, you just keep quiet. Okay, that is the process of meditation. Because what happens, sankalpa is actually welling up from much deeper place than the mind. But the problem is, mind is the instrument through which that sankalpa can come out. And that mind, depending on its own whims and fancies and the dirt, it will color that sankalpa which comes through that. Mind is not the originator of the original thought. Original thought comes from somewhere else. But the mind will color it if it is muddied in some way. I think Swami has used the word, just the way the water, rainwater, when it falls in a certain muddy circumstance, it will also mix with that and then it'll say it's muddy water. But it was rainwater. Originally it came from there, but it settled on the muddy place. So the mind is only an instrument. It is jada. So jada cannot do anything. So the sankalpa actually comes from somewhere deep within. Okay, mind is only the instrument. It's like the spoon which distributes the dish. Okay, but so original sankalpa comes from much beyond the mind. So meditation is a process to cleanse the mind so that the sankalpa comes through without any modification, any coloring, any flavor. It should come. So that is the process of sadhana. See, vikshepa, avarana, we have discussed some of this. Mala, vikshepa, avarana. So the mala, as soon as mala is dirt right away clouds the sankalpa and it becomes vikalpa then. Okay, so thought originates actually somewhere from deep within, but it right away gets colored by the mind. Okay, so that's why I said ekoham bahushamsha sankalpa. Okay, that's called willpower. Will is much beyond the mind.
Yeah, so there's no way for me to try to understand sankalpa, I guess, if it's
You
beyond
can
the mind.
just stop the mind,
Okay.
So that's the whole process of dhyana. Swami already spoke about dhyana. Dhyana is a process where we slowly identify the mala of the mind and cleanse it, clean it. Then the sankalpa should come through properly. Without, okay, so that is the process. That the only sadhana is to understand that. Okay.
Can we say Daiva Sankalpam?
Yes, sankalpam is Deva Sankalpam. Yes, sir.
Anna, is it like sankalpam where the ray of light coming? No longer do we use a prism, which is the mind, which separates it into a color. We use magnifying glass, so it concentrates that light and literally makes it happen. That's what I think dhyana does. Like the sankalpa part, it removes the coloring and it helps focus. And so we are able, like anything Bhagawan did was purely on that Sankalpa. It stayed and it got executed in the world because it was established in that pristine nature. So yeah.
Yes. Yes, I said thank you. Yes, Brother Tasan.
So, Sairam, brother, I'd like to add to the some points to the second paragraph. So, in order to see the world, you're supposed to have Jada and Chaitanya. Jada is many, then only you will see the world. But in order to do the changes and everything, Chaitanya is supposed to be present. So Chaitanya is the one making the changes. So all the creations and dissolution and everything created by God too. So Chaitanya is the one playing at the back. Thank you, Brother Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
When we say oh, sorry, go ahead. Someone else.
Sorry. We'll finish that sentence too, please. And so the Mahatattva got produced. What is really meant by the Mahatattva? The cosmos principle got produced. That was the first step evolution of Prakriti. So,
So the Mahatattva got produced.
Yeah.
So you want to understand what is that Mahat,
yes.
sister?
Yes. So Maya came now, many folds, then Maya Sakti created, then from Maya Sakti we can come to the Mahatattva.
I think I don't know whether we studied as part of Sandhya Nivarani, Buddhi. Swami is selling Ritham, Satyam, and the body is Mahat. I don't know whether you all remember. Maybe not. Okay. So I think I have to go back and revise subject. Sister Mahat Tattva is, I think, Auntie has already said Buddhi. When we say you have to use your Buddhi, Buddhi has multiple facets. Okay, truth, Satyam, Ritham, all that, there are 4 or 5 principles. And so Mahat is the essential part of the Buddhi, which is as just the way Sai Satish was saying, that is the ray of light which reflects. I hope that everyone remembers. The light from the Atma reflects on the Buddhi. That first reflection is Mahat Tattva. Okay, which is as Sai Sati said, it's focused. It's not like the prism which disperses the light and sees the color. So that is the original. Swami is explaining. So the Atmic light falls on the Buddhi, and that is what gives you discrimination, conscience, whatever you want to call it, because that's a reflection of the light. That is the Mahat principle, the cosmos principle. From that only everything manifests. So the Buddhi then takes the light and the mind shines from that. The minds and the senses go out into the world. I think we all remember 1 became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 5, 5 became Anchikrita. I think we discussed some of this as part of Sandhya Nivarani.
Mirror.
Yes. Okay.
Arun,
Yes,
that
Auntie.
paragraph when we read, Swami is trying to explain the creation in a Sankhya philosophy.
Yes.
Purely Sankhya, which is talking about. Prakriti and Purusha, when they come together, the first thing that was born was Mahat Tattvam. Then comes the Ahankara. From Ahankara, this Prakriti, it's all Prakriti only, which is evoluting yourself. When it comes to the stage of Ahankara, then it becomes the Sattvic part of the Ahankara, then takes the 5 sense organs, 5 motor organs, and the mind. And the Tamasic part of it is, it creates the gross elements and the Tanmatras, the subtle elements. So they are together 24 principles, which Sankhya, Swami's next paragraph is going to explain the whole thing.
Yes, and okay, thank you.
Yeah, that is the Sankhya philosophy.
Yes.
I just wonder how Swami, he knows everything. That's when he was young, like, we were together and then playing and so doing, just like a young person, he used to act as if he knows nothing. But he is the creator. When we read all these things, we would not have understood what Swami was trying to say this at that stage. Now, when we know what great philosophy Swami has brought out in such simple words so that people can understand, yeah, that is Swami. That is our Swami.
Yes. So much.
Who taught him all these things? Which university did he go? Which books did he read to bring out such great things, Actually, I tell you, when Swami was speaking, giving discourses, he used to refer to all these things. But we are ignorant people when we are sitting in the audience. Oh, what is he trying to say? That's all. We're Buddhas, I tell you. That's my experience, what I'm telling you.
Yes. No, it's true. I don't think people really understand the context in which, from where Swami came and spoke. He was in a village without chapels, without proper clothes, with no school, no books, nothing.
Anything.
Then you understand how else, unless he is able to, divine, he can't do it. We have studied so many subjects, we have read so many books, analyzed it 100 different ways, and we still struggle with the concepts which he is trying to explain.
Yes,
It is just phenomenal.
We have to read 100 times to remember all these things. But at one go, Swami writes everything.
Sairam to Aruno and Auntie. You have been very close to Bhagavan. In Krishna Bhagavan's avatar, he had all the Shangu Chakaram and all the important aspects were could be seen on his feet and in his palm. Were you able to see anything in our Bhagavan?
No, we could not go near him. It is all from especially women. Women especially had to be away from Swami.
We are the unfortunate people.
But we could, his divine, this thing, Paramatma, we can experience him. That's all we can say.
Sairamanti, you asked because you mentioned my name. See, I've also not seen anything and I don't need to see anything.
Yeah.
Okay. The reality is sometimes we want some physical thing, and what we are reading is actually Sudarshana Chakra. He's showing us the light. Sudarshana means giving us good vision. That's the real, what you are reading is chakra, and this is changa, it's a sound. So, so this is all very, what to say, if you look at if we reduce Swami to the physical form, Swami was sitting in the wheelchair. So if the chakra is there, shouldn't he be flying somewhere? There are people who are bending down to see whether his feet are touching the ground, because they thought he should be about few inches above. Also it is our own concept. We would read in some book or somewhere, and then we come up with our own imagination. And then we see, oh, Swami, show this so I know that you are God. So I think that's the way. So I have not seen anything, Auntie. Absolutely no physical. One thing I know, Swami is so beautiful.
Thank you.
So handsome. That that I can say.
He's really beautiful.
You wouldn't have touched a feet like his. I used to wonder, if a village kid, without chapel, walking around all these with bare feet everywhere, but if you look at his feet, they're so soft and tender. You know, I don't know how. That itself is divinity. That I have experienced, and I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
I will ask-
that soft his feet.
Yeah.
Even now we can remember when we do namaskaram. Just imagine that. Go back to those days. That's it. 4:30 now.
Sai Satish, you want to say something?
Satish.
I just wanted to say on a lighter note, Swami had once told if I had come with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma and all that, people would have put him and charged me a fee. So kind of, or they would have charged others a fee. Yeah. So I think Swami just came so that we could just experience his love as another human being, though he was the Paramatman and all that we have been reading in this book. So that sweetness of that love could be experienced only because he came as Swami. So
Thank you, Sai Satish. It's 4:30, so I hope if everyone is okay, we'll close the session. I'll just pause if somebody wants to feel saying something, you can share. Otherwise, we'll close with Samastaloka. So we'll close with Samastaloka. Sai Ram, everyone. Sai. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sai Ram.